What is going on, Dolphins fans? Jacob here, my Dolphins Syndicate. Another one of our speculation videos for you guys today, as we're going to be talking about the wide receiver 3 position and a man that could potentially fill that role. Miami Dolphins clearly need an upgrade at the wide receiver 3 position. Last few years, you saw Braxton Berrios, you saw Cedric Wilson, you saw Trent Sherfield, the host of those three guys competing out for the wide receiver 3 position, as well as Eric Ezukama, Braxton Berrios, Ezukama, as well as River Craycraft back on the team this year as things stand. However, the Dolphins need an upgrade at that wide receiver 3 position. Have not been able to get more than 500 yards over the last 2 years from that position. Pretty significant drop off from Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle to whoever the next guy in line is. So I think we still need to go out and sign another wide receiver for that position. And there are guys available out there. There's Tyler Boyd, there's Hunter Renfrow, there's Michael Thomas, there's DJ Chark, and then there's the guy that we're going to be talking about today, who the Miami Dolphins who have had most recent contact with, that is Odell Beckham Jr. With OBJ at his current state in his career, it is a mixed bag as to whether I think it's a good idea for the Miami Dolphins to go out and get him. There is certainly still some good. However, there is some red flags with OBJ that we will get into today. So just looking at him for what he is, you're looking at a 5'11", 31-year-old wide receiver. Last year, coming off the season with the Baltimore Ravens, 35 catches, 565 yards, and 3 touchdowns. It's looking all but guaranteed now that he's, at the very least, not going to be returning to Baltimore. That if that would have happened, you imagine that would have happened by now, but not the case. Had himself an all-right season, had some good, had some bad over there. He still has some of the attributes that you saw him break out with when he was with the New York Giants. He has that quick first step. He has that playmaking ability. For his 5'11" height, he can go up and get a ball. Really good with the slants. Can really find a lot of routes all over the route tree that Odell Beckham Jr. has in his bag. They might not be as crisp and he might not be as explosive as he was when he was younger, but you can still get just about whatever you ask from Odell. You can still get that production from him, albeit on a much more limited basis. Still has that quickness, still has that sharpness, and still has that fire, still somebody on the field that is going to light up the field, is going to be a big personality, and we know the Miami Dolphins can handle those personalities. You see with Tyreek Hill, you see with Jalen Ramsey, you see with a lot of guys that are a little bit flashier, and Mike McDaniel has really embraced the South Florida swagger, that coolness that comes from, just being in Miami. There's a lot of those guys on the team, and I didn't really see it being a distraction last year. I think the locker room had a good camaraderie, just as far as we could tell from looking at Hard Knocks and stuff like that. So I don't think Odell Beckham Jr. comes in as a cancer. There was times where he had that label on him, more specifically when he was with the Cleveland Browns, but that was just a really complicated situation altogether. I'm sure we still don't have the true clear-cut picture as to who was mostly at fault there. But what you're getting is a good wide receiver, somebody who's performed better in the last few years than what we've seen from our wide receiver 3 position already. So there is a certain upgrade that you would be getting, just at the very least on paper, from OBJ if he joins Miami Dolphins. Now, there are some setbacks when it comes to Odell. More significantly, I think, is his injury history. Now, last year, only one significant injury that held him out of 2 games, got him taken out in the game in week 2. And we saw him miss games 3 and 4, which was an ankle injury he sustained against the Bengals. But you're looking at ACL injuries. You're looking at hip injuries. You're looking at pretty much all over his body. If you're looking at a chart of Odell Beckham, you're looking at a shoulder, you're looking at a wrist, you're looking at a hip, you're looking at everywhere across the board when it comes to Odell, where he's sustained injuries throughout his career. He's 31 years old. Next season, he's going to be 32. He's not getting any younger. It's not going to be any easier on those joints, on those ligaments, on those muscles to get the output that is demanded of a wide receiver in the NFL. And even if he was on the field last year, he was not on the field as much as you would expect from a wide receiver. I was looking at some of Tyler Boyd's numbers earlier today, and his usage rate was something that I thought was really good, especially for his age and how long he's been in the league. You saw a lot of games with 60, 70, 80, sometimes 90% of offensive plays. Tyler Boyd was on the field and being productive. Even if he's not the most talented receiver on the league, he's available, he's out there on the field. Now, Odell, he got that injury in week 2, and since that injury, the usage rates are not looking good. You're looking at his best usage rate for the rest of the season was week 7 at 57%. Week 1, he was at 92% usage rate. He was on the field a lot of the game, most of the game, almost the entire game. And then you look at the rest of the season, you're looking at 57, 57, 53, 54, 54, 53 in no particular order. And then you get even worse. You see some 41s, some 46s, some 33s, 32s, and 29s. You're looking at a really bad usage rate out of a wide receiver 3 from a position that the Miami Dolphins desperately need to be available and to show up and be ready to go. That next guy in line, that next option on the offense for Tua to throw the ball to, you need to be available. Even if you are healthy, quote unquote, even though you are active, if you're not on the field more than 65% of the snaps, you're seeing a significant drop off in both literal usage and then figurative usage. If you're not available to be thrown to, the best ability is availability. And even when he is active, we see him time and time again on the sideline, whether it's injury, whether it's preventative for him to not get injured again, whatever the reason was for him being on the sidelines, he was on the sidelines a lot more often than he should have been. He wasn't the Baltimore Ravens' number 1 option in the wide receiving core, and the wide receiver core in Baltimore certainly was better last year than we've seen in recent years. However, it wasn't top 10 in the league. I don't know if it was top 15 in the league. You have rookie Zay Flowers, who I think a lot of people like, including myself, and we'll see what he blossoms into. I think he's going to have himself a good career. You have Mark Andrews, but after that, there's a lot of fight within that Baltimore Ravens passing game as to who the next guy could have been. There's Nelson Aguilar. There's Isaiah Likely. There's a little bit from the running backs, but not a lot of production coming from the running backs in the passing game, as Lamar is a actively rushing quarterback who is not afraid to use his legs by any means. So there's mouths to feed in this offense. There's routes to be given. There are passes to be given. And Odell just was not on the field coming off of last season as much as I would like. There is also the thing that I did previously mention, how it hasn't been an issue, but the big personalities, the guys that are out there, the Miami already does have quite a few of those guys. When you stack in another one, how is that going to look? Based off everything we've seen so far, I don't think that's going to be a problem, but it's not a problem until it is. Odell's going to be 32 years old, not the biggest, got a little bit of miles now on the body, and I just don't know how much longer he's going to be able to keep up with this modern NFL, as these wide receivers are coming in young and they are having immediate impacts off of the draft. You're seeing rookie wide receivers immediately come in and have a massive impact. So I would not be bothered at all if the Miami Dolphins, they're probably not their first round pick, their second round or their third round pick, go out and get a wide receiver, as well as bringing in one of these veterans. Is Odell the guy? Is Odell the veteran that the Miami Dolphins should be bringing in? Now, they clearly think so, because he's the guy, as far as we're aware. He's the only guy the Miami Dolphins have given an official offer to, and that's straight from Mike McDaniel's mouth, that they offered him a contract when he came into the facilities and they met together. And obviously he didn't sign it, but there's a clear indication that the Miami Dolphins, that head coach Mike McDaniel, are interested in bringing in Odell. So this isn't fake news. This isn't something that's just a little bit of a pipe dream, maybe like some of the stuff we talked about like over the last month or two. This is real, and there's a very good chance that this does happen. Just a matter of whether Odell can get a contract that is better, or a situation that is better that he can go on to with a chance to win the Super Bowl, win a second Super Bowl. Remember, he won that Super Bowl with the Rams, as well as get a little bit more money, because the Miami Dolphins do not have a lot of money to spend. Depending on where you look, it's somewhere between $4 to $8 million that the Miami Dolphins have available to spend, which is not a lot of money. So they got to allocate that money very wisely, especially with the draft coming up, and you're going to have to sign those guys to guaranteed money. So Miami Dolphins need to be careful what they're spending. Would I go out and sign Odell Beckham? Is he my first choice as wide receiver 3 of guys that are currently on the streets? No, I don't think he is my wide receiver 1 of the wide receiver 3s that are available. There are some guys that are veterans that have been doing it for a long time that I like a little bit more than Odell Beckham. But would I be disappointed if the Miami Dolphins signed Odell? Absolutely not. You can still get a guy that, if he gets you between 500 and 700 yards, cool. That's more than what you've been averaging recently. Yeah, he's probably going to miss some games. Yeah, he's probably not going to be as available as you would like him to be. But if there's a team that can afford to not have their wide receiver three be out there on the field a lot, it is the Dolphins, with Tyreek Hill, with Jalen Waddle, with a young receiver in Eric Ezukanma who can hopefully finally have a healthy season and a productive season, as well as Braxton Berrios, as well as River Craycraft, as well as the guys that have been there, that were there last year. You lose Cedric Wilson, whoop-de-doo, didn't have a big impact on the team anyways. So I'd be happy. I wouldn't be thrilled. I wouldn't say I'd be overly excited, but it would be a very tantalizing prospect. Odell's a guy that for years I've thought in the back of my mind it'd be very interesting to see how he would look paired with a quarterback in Tua that can get the ball out of his hands quickly into his playmakers' weapons. And Odell, somebody who has a good first step, runs really good slants, and could be very useful for this Miami Dolphins offense if he's healthy, and obviously if he's on the team. Let me know down below. Is Odell the guy for the Miami Dolphins? Is he the wide receiver 3 for the Miami Dolphins this upcoming season? Should they go out and sign him? If not, who? Who should the Miami Dolphins bring in for the wide receiver 3? Should it be guys like Tyler Boyd, Hunter Renfrow, Michael Thomas, infinite number of guys that are open on the streets right now? Are there guys in the draft? Is there a Xavier Legette that you would like to see the Miami Dolphins get potentially in the second round? Is there an Adonai Mitchell that you would like to see in the first round? Let us know down below. Who are these guys that you like? Who are some guys that you'd like to see us talk about over here on Miami Dolphins Syndicate? While down there, y'all know what to do. Hit that like button. Hit that subscribe button. We appreciate y'all very much for watching. Have a great rest of your day. Go Dolphins.